everyone, welcome back. So in this video we're going to deploy and configure Azure Firewall. So we're going to create some firewall rules which allows and denies certain websites. So the tasks that we're going to perform in this video are: first we're going to create a resource group and then create a virtual network and subnets accordingly, and create a virtual machine using the Cloud Shell. And then we're going to create some firewall and firewall policies and create a default route, application rules, network rules, and destination NAT. And then we're going to change primary and secondary DNS address to the server network interface, and then we're going to test the firewall. So let's go ahead and start. So initially we have to create the resource group. So you can create a resource here and you can search for the resource groups. Okay, so you can see we have a resource group here. Click that and create one resource group. Select the appropriate Azure pass and name the group. In this case, the resource group that we have used is test firewall. So this is the resource group that we have used. So I'm getting error because the resource group is already present, and select the appropriate region and review and create. Since I've already created it, I'm not creating again. So once this is done, the next thing is we have to create a virtual network. So in this, select the virtual networks. So I've already created one. So this is the virtual network that I have created. So you can click create, select the appropriate Azure pass, select the group that we have created recently, that is test firewall resource group, and name it. So this is the name of the virtual network that we are creating. Since I've already created, it's getting error, so I'm just putting one here. So it's coming to the IP addresses. So it's showing me other, but you have to have this one. So this IP space for this virtual network that we are creating, and then coming to subnets, add a subnet. And in this case you'll be adding Azure Firewall, and select the appropriate subnet range, which I'll be adding here, and just click add. So if there is any default subnet here, change it to Azure Firewall subnet. So just click that default and change it to this. So this is one of the subnet we are creating, and once this is done, add another subnet which is workload SN. So once this you add it, then you have to create other one. Okay, and select the subnet here. So this is the subnet for this, and click add. So once this is done, you can review and create. You can go to the final stage and you can review and create it. So this is how I created the virtual network. Since I've already created it, I'm not creating again. So let me go back. Okay. So you can see this is the virtual network that we have created, and the subnets related to that. So once it is done, let's go ahead and create the virtual machine. So for that, I'll be using Cloud Shell. So you have to upload certain files. So I'll be providing the link below in the description. So you can add that and run the command. So you have to click this upload and select the appropriate file here. So I've already selected it. So you can confirm it by using ls. So these are the two different files that you need to upload. So once this is done, I'll provide you the command, so which is in the Microsoft Docs. Let me show you. So this is the command for that. So for this resource group, we are adding the virtual machine. So yeah, so this is the command. You can just copy and paste it. Since I've already done it, I'm not doing it again. So once this is done, you'll be getting a virtual machine has been created. So when it is done, make sure you remember that private IP. So if I go to my virtual machine, so this is the one that has been created. Go to the networking. So make sure you have this IP address. Remember this IP address. Okay. So once this is done, let's go ahead and deploy the firewall and firewall policy. For that, we have to create a resource in this, select the firewall, and here you can see we have got the firewall. Just click it and you can know more about by reading the description here. So once it's done, let's create it and select the appropriate Azure pass and select the resource group that we have created, which is just firewall resource group. And coming to the name, just this is the name that we have given, and select the appropriate region, which is East US that we have selected. Since it's already there, I think it's one. And coming to Azure firewall policy, this is the one that we have created, but in this case we'll be creating a new one and give it the name. So in this case, the firewall policy that we have given is, according to the top, this is the one, and just click create. So it will be the standard, and just click the create. So once it's done, okay, so this is the one. So once it's done, go to the next one, virtual network. So you can use the existing one. This is the one that we have created. So once this is done, for example, if I select this, you have to select the public IP, so which I don't have for this. So you have to create a new one and just give the name. So for this, the name that we have provided is the one. So just click and create. Since it's already there, just click one and click OK, so that the public IP will be created. So this is the pretty much the options that we have to do, and final review and create. However, we'll be getting error because I have not done it properly. So basically these are the options that you have to do. So firewall should be standard, and the management, it should be use firewall policy to manage this firewall, and you have to create a firewall and just give the name. That should be fine, and select the appropriate virtual network that we have created before, and then you have to create a new public IP. So these are the pretty much tasks that we're gonna do in this case, and finally you have to create it. So in this case I'm not creating it. So this is the one that we have created. So here you can find let me go to the resources. So you can see we have created these things. So if you can see this, so this is the private IP for the firewall. So I'm just noting it down. And the other one is public IP. So this is the public IP for this. So once it's done, we have to create a route. So for that, select the route, and you can see here route, double click it, read the description, create, select the appropriate subscription, select the resource group, and select the region. In this case I'll go with the East US, and coming to the name, it will be the firewall route, and make sure it says. So to know more about it, you can read this. So you have to select no, only to prevent the propagation of the on-premises routes to the network interface in the association subnets. But in this case, we are allowing it, in which it will go to the firewall. Since it's already there, we are getting error, so you can click one. So this is the one, so they're pretty much. So just review and create. I'm not creating it since I have done. So now we have to select that. So here we have to select the firewall route that we have created. There you go. So the configurations, no, yeah, routes, and here you have to add the route. In this case, this is the configuration that we have done. So just click the name in this case, and click IP address, and like this, and next IP should be the virtual appliance, and the next hop should be the private IP that you have copied. So the firewall private IP, so that we have copied previously. So you have to click this. In this case, it's 0.4. So selecting this, you have to add it. Since there is a match showing some error, but however, this is the one that we have created. So make sure you select create with the right IP address range, and select the correct appropriate selections. So once it's done, we have to go to this pool, and we have to give the application rules. So this is the one that we have created. So in this case, we are using the destination as Google, and we are making it allow. The action should be allowed. So you can see this is the configurations that we have done. So once this is done, you have to go to the network rules, and similarly select this. So basically, if you can see the destination, these are the public DNS servers operated by CenturyLink. So once it's done, this is the NAT rule that we have created for the RP. So once it's done, we have to change the primary and secondary DNS address to the server network interface. For that, let's go to the resource groups again. And in this, let's select, where is, and here you can see the interface, and here come to the DNS servers. You have to add these two. Initially, it will be like inherit from the virtual network. Select the custom and add this. So once it's done, now it's time to test whether the rules that we have created are working properly or not. So in this case, we are allowing Google, and if you're trying to access some other websites, it should be denied. So let's select the RTP. So you can see this is the public IP that we have got, and use this format and click connect, and select the password. In this case, you can find the password from the docs. So I'll just add in the below. So just click OK, click yes. So this is the virtual machine that has been created, and make sure whenever when you did that firewall rules, restart your virtual machine, then it should work fine. So Now we have got it. Click the Explorer and let me try to access Google. So you can see I'm able to access Google. Now let's go ahead and access some other website. In this case, let's go ahead and access Microsoft. So you can see we were not able to connect to this page, whereas we can connect to Google. So the firewall is working properly. So this is pretty much, and once you have done this, make sure you delete the resource groups. So in this case you have to So this is a command that you have to use. So it's starting and the resource will be deleted. So yeah, I hope you guys have understood the concept of Azure Firewall, how to deploy and configure it. So if you like the video, please click the like button below, and if you're not subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe to my channel, and thank you guys.